Get ready for a Tommy Turbo Masterclass. Tameless Tuesday is here. And the boys are hard as a rock. Don't be a weak-gutted dog. Leave that for Jamin Salmon. Get ready for the best SuperCoach show on the planet. It's so good, it's better than Lego. You're now listening to the SuperCoach Experience Podcast. Here's your host, Brandon Savage.
Hello, what is up, and welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Burbos. We're here for the Thursday night Q&A podcast. We are live, so if you're here and want to ask any questions, go for it. I'll answer it. I've got a bunch of questions here that I asked on Instagram the other day that I'm going to answer first, but we are live. Magic Round has just begun. The women's origin is going right now as we speak, and New South Wales are absolutely murdering it. The vibe looks good up there, so I'm excited to go up there tomorrow morning, leaving at 1-2 in the morning, I think. So for the people doing the same who are actually heading up to Magic Round on Friday, hopefully this is a bit of listening content for your Friday morning. Evan Burnett, I thought you boys would be at the Caxton by now. No, a lot of us are traveling up tomorrow morning, so I actually have a bit of FOMO. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jamie Chapman. Yeah, nice. We most of us planned poorly and decided to go up tomorrow. I wish we planned for tonight because would have liked to have a little rest and ease into the morning. Instead, tomorrow we're going to get straight into it. So Spank the Monkey live on YouTube says Drinkwater or Edwards. I think I'd definitely go Drinkwater. Definitely plays around 13, and he's priced at a more reasonable value. Stephanus Constantine, Edwards, if you can afford it. I don't hate the play if you can afford it, but at the same time, Drinkwater is 200, 250K cheaper. Our teams are decimated. Upgrade where you can right now, and New South Wales are a get away once again, and they bomb it. Stephanos on YouTube, Savs, do you think Turbo to Drinky made a J Gagai full of Marju via Iro 30 trades plus 4 boosts? Yeah, I love it. It means you probably got a bit of cash in the bank to play with after that as well, so you can continually upgrade for the next couple of weeks after that as well. So I like that. And I'm actually getting Jacob Gagai myself. Yeah, my trade plans have changed since Tuesday, lads. With the news of Reece Walsh being out, I actually think that's a good thing for me. People who have Reece Walsh will now lose out for that. So I get an advantage there. I'm not trading my fullback at the moment. I'm going Fata Ape down to Jacob Gagai, and then I'm going Sean Johnson to Burton. I've seen a lot of reports saying that Luai, Luke Keary and Nico Hines are the front runners for the 5'8", so I'm hoping he doesn't play Origin, but I think his versatility might get him there. 230K in the bank, that's brilliant. Curto, Evening Legend, is Marju a buy, or would you bring in Armstrong or Gagai for the cash? Personally, I've toyed with the idea of Marju, but I just have a feeling without Ponga, he's not going to get there multiple try games like he was early throughout all of last year. His base did rise a bit. New South Wales just bombed a try. His base went up a bit in the last couple of weeks, but I think one of these cheapies are a much better buy. Armstrong is in a bit of doubt. Dave Edwards, congrats on the awesome start to the year. Where should I upgrade? Hooker or 5'8"? Ooh, I think 5'8". I think it's a position where you can get like a Matt Burton, a high upside guy, whereas Hooker, there hasn't been many 100-plus scores from Hooker this year. Ted, Savs, Trell, worth a flyer. I've been looking at him seriously, I just can't do it with their forward pack at the moment, but what I do like is that Latrell does kind of change that side, and I think this week it turns around for the Rabbitohs. Stephen Gurman, Schiller to Young, and Finifuriaki to Garner to make the coin. Sorensen is firming into play, so I wouldn't go to Luke Garner, but I do like the Schiller to Young trade. All right, let's go over to the questions on Instagram that were asked the other day. Bailey Lloyd asked, best fullback to get during Origin if Reece Walsh gets selected, which he will. And I think it's definitely Drinkwater, and then it's one of Teddy or Edwards. Whoever doesn't get picked, I'd be happy to wait 2 weeks, and whoever doesn't get picked is pretty much going to be a must-have that week. Bailey Lloyd, once again, is Burton a good replacement for Cleary? I love Burton as a replacement for Cleary. I wish he was a lot more cheaper than he is, but it is what it is. He's got a good upside, and he is goal kicking. Wow, just wow, SC on Instagram. Trading Burto and Brian Kelly or Sam Walker and Karaz. Ooh. I don't mind the Brian Kelly shout. He's always been a pretty good option, but Sam Walker and Karaz, it feels safe, and it's more they're more Supercoach relevant. So when their draw does open up, I like Sam Walker and Karaz. Zaki011 on Instagram. SJ and Hines at halfback. Hold both until Brown gets dual and flick him up to halfback and sell off SJ. That was my plan initially, but I've gone to Burton. But I think there is a great kind of tactic where you can move Dylan Brown up to 5'8". You can move Ethan Strange up to your 5'8" role after moving Dylan Brown to halfback, and then you can get in a center wing, or you can get in a 5'8", or you can pretty much get in whatever you like. Lachlan 2 on Instagram. Is it crazy to hold SJ and just wait for Brown's duel? As I said before, yes, very good. Liam Duffy, is the time for two-gun fullbacks over for now with injuries, Origin and poor form? I think the time is pretty much over that it is a must-have. I think it's still fine to do. Like, there is still Teddy, Edwards, there's Drinkwater, there's C&K, hopefully gets fullback, goes back to fullback soon. But I think needing to have two-gun fullbacks every week isn't essential anymore because these guys aren't high upside. I think where it's at, stack up the center wings, get your Jermaine Asakos, get your Joey Manus, and make sure you have these guys who can hurt you in these bye period rounds. Sam Eves, Birdo versus Dealbags for 5'8". I'd go Dylan Brown. I think what I've seen from him last week looks much better than what we have early on in the season, and he's a safe play not to play Origin. So you get Dylan Brown in now, and you can just wait and see how it goes. Maybe you can get Matt Burton after. Nashi 8, Val to Manu, 2 sideways. I think it is. I think a lot of these questions were asked before TLT, so I think that question's probably answered by now. Samuel Girokas, Eli Katoa a buy this week. I do like Eli Katoa as a buy. He hasn't been in the top traded in list since he got that ton a couple of weeks ago. So I think locking him in, and he's been a great staple for my side. Nipper Simpson, Cleary, Turbo, SJ, and Armstrong all injured this week. Not enough depth or boost left. Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, that's a crusher. That is a crusher, and they haven't called it. Yeah, it's a pretty tough week this week for injuries, and there's a lot of outs, but everyone's dealing with it. So just some are dealing with it better than others. Nipper Simpson, as I got 4 players due to injury. Let's go to AKL Patrick, best buy this week. I think Burton's a great buy this week. There's not many other buys I like. I think Azarko is a pretty good buy this week as well. He does cost a bit more money than I would have liked to pay for him, though. The Cashos, what to do with Nico and SJ? I think it's worth considering selling Nico, especially if you've got a couple of trades. He's $1,050,000 playing the Roosters and the Penrith in the next 2 weeks, then goes into Origin potentially. I think he's a sell. But with all this carnage, you're not going to do it. Like, you need someone like Nico in your side, but it's something I will consider over the next couple of weeks. Ads on Instagram, who would be the best replacement for Cleary? I think Burton is the best replacement for Cleary, followed by Sam Walker. But if you can wait, I love Jerome Hughes in round 14 or 15. Rowie on Instagram, who to from DWZ thinking going up to best or down to cooler? I will go down to cooler. I think making money off the trade is essential. You don't want to be selling DWZ at his lowest and getting Bradman best at his highest. So I recommend getting someone like Cooler at his lowest. I wouldn't sell DWZ personally, especially with all this carnage. Try and get rid of your Deadwood and get someone in who is playable week to week, like a David Armstrong, Saw Falongo, One of these guys, but that's what I'd be doing. Hamish Donkin, is David Fafita still a pickup even with Origin looming? I think if you can lock him in sooner rather than later and you have no other issues, you got the cash sitting there, 100%. I think he's definitely a great option. And like the next 2 weeks, they got a pretty good draw. Anthony Graham, prioritize these cells in order: Turbo, RTS, Cleary, KPP, Salmon. I think KPP you can kind of wait for. Salmon you can wait for. I don't know. Like Salmon and KPP will play in round 13, but then Salmon is going to play off the bench and low minutes. So I think RTS, Cleary, and Turbo are definitely the priorities. It just depends. It depends how strong each of your positions are and what you're looking at, who you have. If you have pretty low depth in certain positions, then I would prioritize the positions that you don't have depth in. Oh, that's not good. All right. We'll answer some questions on YouTube. I got another page. Thanks, man. Enjoy Magic Round. Very jealous. Yes, I was very jealous this time last year, so I made sure I didn't miss out this year. Very excited. Going to be going off not much sleep because since we're waking up at 1 o'clock, we've got 5 hours sleep if I go to bed now. Evan Burnett, worth holding on to Turbo till New South Wales decide their fullback. He's out for 8 weeks, mate. So it's a tricky one. I think it's worth holding on for a week or two until you get a better clarity of who these Origin fullbacks are going to be. Flynn T, do you think it's worth bringing in Talangi and Falungo in? Can trade out one in round 14 to Manu and hoping the other can hold a spot. Yeah, I think you can bring them both in if you're happy with the guns in your side. I think Joey Manu is definitely a target before round 13 rather than after round 14. Evan Burnett, who's your biggest target after the Origin period? I think Fafita definitely has to be one. I'll be very keen on Tedesco. I think Harry Grant is one. I'm going to want Cleary back when he kills it in Origin. Maybe Munster. There's so many people. Payne Haas in the front row. I think Terrell Mater Payne Haas will be very popular once the bye period is over. Evan Burnett, who's the biggest target after Origin? Well, it's the same question. He's just correcting himself. Grant, Munster. Yeah, I'd probably go for Fafita 1, Grant number 2, and then, Muncie, you could probably take him or leave him because I think my plan with getting him Burton in, since he has the 5'8" dual, put him in 5'8". I don't know. It just depends. Dave Edwards, have you started thinking about round 19 yet? Depth looks scary. No, I haven't, because I think if you think too much about it, you're kind of undoing yourself for round 16 and round 13, 16, 14, and 17. So I'll play them first, and if it's carnage, deal with it when it comes, because realistically, you're not going to have a perfect side for either round. So just make sure you're sweet. Troy Bancroft, what are your thoughts on Aiken at second row forward? Yeah, 630 odd K. I'm not sure if he went up in cash this week, but what I do like about him is that stability in center wing. I do like him in second row too. The second row's kind of been a wasteland. I probably prefer him in second row, to be honest, but it just feels like the price is too much considering you can get someone like Cameron McInnes, who is a genuine gun. I know Cameron McInnes is probably going to play Origin though. Skeggs4 on YouTube, what are your 2RF must-haves? Fafita, Olakawatu, and I reckon Eli Katoa is going to be the third guy to close out the season. Maybe Hopgood will get there, and I think Isaiah Yeo is going to be an option this year in the second row. Thomas Wesson, RTS to Armstrong or Gagai? Have a look at your round 13 numbers. If you've got enough, I'd go Gagai. I think getting the bottom dollar guy. And Armstrong has a bye next week. You're not going to be able to use him next week. I'm personally getting in Gagai. I'm not playing him. But with him, with 41 points, he goes up 100K. He's still got that 88 in his break even. So he can make 200K over the next couple of weeks, especially if he scores well this week. So I'm planning on going with Gagai. Rabbitohs are decimated. Armstrong was in a bit of doubt. Fletcher Sharp is on the extended bench. So we'll see what happens there. But I like Gagai as a buy for 100K less, and yeah, Armstrong has the bye next week, so yeah, you'll play him in round 13, but realistically, his break even is 0. If he scores 25 this week, he makes hardly any money, and then his break even is pretty normal. So it's a bit of a scary prospect. It's a bit of a risk if you haven't already got Armstrong in. Ted Sun selling SJ to grab Burton, but State of Origin worries me with him backing up. Not all too keen on Walker, to be honest. I'm not keen on Walker. That's why I'm getting in Matt Burton. I think Matt Burton over the next 2 weeks can outscore Sam Walker significantly. So if he gets picked for Origin, it is what it is. I think what he's going to produce is going to outproduce Sam Walker over the 3 weeks compared to what Burton can produce in 2. So that's why I'm going with Matt Burton. And I think he will back up. They don't have, they got Toby Sexton there, but it just feels like, I don't know. I just feel like he'll back up. Kariki Chur, could the condition of Suncorp deck have any impact for scoring for the last game? Looking at the field right now, it's going to be a little bit wet tomorrow. So, yeah, 100%. It looks like it will be dry Saturday and Sunday. Dry Saturday and Sunday, Jack? He didn't answer. But, yeah, I think it's going to be dry Saturday, Sunday, a bit wet on Friday. So, yeah. I remember a year at Magic Round where there was just so many injuries. This year could be similar because we've been pretty lucky, Magic Round, not to be too wet over the last 1 or 2 years. But this year, a bit wet over the weekend, so it could be interesting. One of the women's players going off with an injury right now, but that's on the arm. It's not a leg injury. Stefanos Constantine, once again, would you go Marju or Burton if you had to choose? I'm in that exact dilemma, and I've gone Burton. But it also depends on your buy numbers and how strong you are for next week. With Newcastle having the buy next week, my 17 is struggling at the moment. Let me tell you that. So I'm getting Burton knowing he will play next week, whereas Marju, if he doesn't play next week and I'm selling a genuine gum for him, I'm going to be hurt next week by him being out. All right, back to Instagram. Nippers Simpson. Is that it? Is David Feder pick up? No, we've answered all the questions. Maybe I double. Oh, no, here we go. Eli Katoa, bye. Should there be more trades next season, more boosts, maybe 5 in a week boost? I think it's going to really depend on the engagement of SuperCoach at the end of the season. So if a lot of people drop off and SuperCoach see that people are just not playing, they will up the boosts. But this year, it feels like there's been a lot of injuries to SuperCoach relevant players where most years there's similar amount of injuries, but it's not SuperCoach relevant players. So because it is SuperCoach relevant players, SuperCoach is going to feel the effects for it later in the season when people are disinterested and all that sort of stuff. So with that, I think it's a call they need to make later in the season and just kind of assess why are these injuries happening. Are they going to keep happening like this because the game's fast? What rule changes come in the off season, and how bad was the disengagement in the closing rounds compared to what it was last year? Because if the drop off is completely really bad, then I think SuperCoach are really going to look at that. I know. For the buy rounds 13, 16, and 19, we always used to have to field you could field 17. Most people wouldn't most weeks. They changed that to the best 13. A lot of old school super coaches went up in arms and said, "Nah, that goes all the planning done." But I think it's kept people more engaged, and even the old school super coaches have really adapted to it. And I think it just takes the pressure off and helps you plan in other sort of way. So whatever they do, it helps you plan. 2020, we pretty much got unlimited trades when Joe Nadoff won. So because of COVID stopped the footy. We got unlimited trades that year. So that was a very different year as well. And I think that was very enjoyable. Maybe they'll look at the stats there compared to the end of this year and then kind of make a decision there. Very interesting call. I'll have to speak to Tommy about that one. Best buy this week. I think that's it for the questions. I've got one on YouTube right here. Thoughts on holding SJ for 1 week to get Brown DPP, holding Walsh, and then putting the R on Smithy, saving trade so I can get Walsh to Manu in round 13. I like that one. If you do sell SJ and put Dylan Brown up to 5'8", you can put like an Ethan Strange into the 5'8" role and get Manu that way, and then go Walsh to gun fullback. But I think if you've got a plan that way, that's a really good play. Flynn T, should I play KPP or Smithies? Don't think we'll know if KPP gets his starting side before the Raiders game. Yeah, I'm in a weird scenario like this. I'm definitely playing Smithies. I think he's been playing big minutes this year. They're coming off a bye, so I expect his work rate to be like 55. I'll be very happy with, and I think he's in for a 55 tomorrow, to be honest. Rumors Frizzell is out for Saturday, so I am putting the reserve on KPP. I can bank on him getting a 40. Having KPP versus Smithies, I'd probably take the risk and go KPP. Like, what's it going to do? Like, if KPP comes off the bench, plays 40 minutes, gets 40 points, and you're stoked with the Smithies 55, then like you're risking 14 points for the potential upside of KPP. If he plays 80 minutes and has attacking stats, you'll be regretting not playing KPP. So I'd go that way, and it is frustrating that he didn't get on the field till the second half last week, but we've just got to take these sort of risks. Everyone's off him, so it's good pod play as well. Thomas Wesson, don't know which one to sell because I currently have Walsh and Fuller as my fullbacks. Yeah, that's tricky. It is very tricky. We don't know how long Walsh is out for. Like, is he out next week? I doubt he's going to be out next week. So what I'll do, Fuller's going to play round 13 with Hammer going off to Origin. So it really just depends. What's your depth like? What cash do you use? I'd probably look at selling Walsh, to be honest, because over the Origin period, he's going to be out. Fuller, you can squeeze a bit more cash out of him. Thoughts on selling Crichton round 13 if he plays Origin, has a high BE, missing round 13 and 14. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I actually didn't say Crichton when I said my top second row targets, but I think he's going to be one of them. I don't think I'll sell him because he's the kind of guy where I'm going to be like, I don't need to get him back, and he's going to hurt you late in the season. So I probably wouldn't sell him. I'd look at other avenues. I'd really like, and it just depends who you're going to go to. Like, I think Eli Katoa, Dave Feeder, all these other guys who have high upside are the ones I'm more likely to go to. But that is it for the Q&A podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully it is a bit of happy magic round day. Hopefully it's a bit of content for your Friday morning or / Thursday night. If you are around and at the Caxton, at the Suncorp, we're actually going to be at the Caxton at about 3 o'clock. So head down there if you want to say hi to us. Me, Mikey, and Timmy will be there. And hopefully Grant will be there at that time too. So come down, say hi, and enjoy your magic round. Let's bloody do this. We've been excited. It's been coming for a long time, so let's do it. See you later.